with Quinn and Cantera.
Hey, hey, hey! Oh, I can't believe he did that. 1-800-LAW-1010. 1-800-LAW-1010.com. It's Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti, our pal, our legal soothsayer.
Paul, can you believe he did the hey, hey, hey? Cosby did the hey, hey, hey between the trial and walking back to the parking lot or whatever?
You know, he started to, for the first time in the trial, Bill Cosby started to play for the crowd a little bit. He'd been just quiet as a lamb, and then you kind of saw his arms raised up, and he started to communicate. Yeah, it was a surprise.
He also looked a lot less blind towards the end of the trial than he did at the beginning of the trial.
Where's the milky part? Is it the milky part only on the inside of inside a building, or is when he's outside I can't see the milky part?
Yeah,
you would advise against him as an attorney. You would probably advise Bill Cosby against not doing the hey 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 yet.
Well, because it wasn't a true victory, right? So he wasn't vindicated. They weren't able to come to a verdict, right? We had this hung jury, and prosecutors very quickly said that they're going to retry Bill Cosby. So I think the low key and maybe walking a little slower would have played a little better to the cameras.
All right, so there's so many questions about this, but the part Quinn and I were talking about yesterday is Bill Cosby's wife released a statement that was really kind of mean towards the judge. Isn't that judge going to be part of the retrial?
The judge, even and the prosecutor, and like even some of the jurors, I think.
Yeah. Well, we know the prosecutor is going to be there. We don't know if it's going to be the same judge retrying the case. It could be. Sure. She put it out there, and I think that's how she felt, and some of that might be attributed to Bill, but what spouses and what family and friends say should not be attributed in any way to how the judge rules on the case. But I think she wanted to get the word out. Judge, we thought you were biased towards us.
Right. What are the chances that this thing doesn't make it back into a trial or another trial?
This is a different world, right? So historically, you have a mistrial, and often the case just goes away. They don't re-prosecute, or it's a great time for a plea bargain. And in this situation, I just don't know that is on the table. I mean, there's the prosecutor ran his entire campaign around trying Bill Cosby for these crimes, and so I think we're going to have a second trial. But of course, anything's possible.
And then, how did we get here? What happened to the jury? Just one person? Do we know numbers? Like who didn't?
So
how does that work?
Historically, the word comes out. They just haven't. I'm sure it will, but it just hasn't come out yet. It could be just one person saying, "Listen, I do not find beyond a reasonable doubt that Bill Cosby did this." It could have been two. It could have been three. It could have been more. But ultimately, when they deadlock, it is a situation where the jurors look at each other and say, "We are never going to reach unanimity. We're never going to agree on whether it's guilty or innocent." And they were in there for a long time, longer than the actual trial. To some degree, and so, it happens. It happened, but they're saying
Paul,
retrial.
The woman who was who actually did testify that kind of got skewered while she was up there had been contacting Cosby 50, 60 times post this incident supposedly. Did that play into maybe the inability for the jury to make the decision, and later on if they do it again? How do we decide if that's right or wrong? How do they make a decision based on that?
Yeah. First of all, when you do a second trial, usually it is in favor of the defendant, right? So second trials, you sort of know what the prosecution is going to do. The second time around, you got all the games, tricks figured out. And that's number one. Two, there were so many of the other, the alleged, but the victims, from other Cosby, just so many women came out. It was just one of these things. You just couldn't look at this and say isolated. She sort of has an axe to grind with him or something. So I really don't know. I mean, it's one of these cases that it does it to some degree unprecedented because of his notoriety, but I do know for sure that Bill is wandering around there, and one of the victims said that he's in jail now. I mean, he's just surrounded by people, and his career and reputation. So, if they don't try the case again, he has paid a price he never thought he would pay.
And if they do try the case again, what's the time frame? This summer?
Yeah. They said as quickly as 3 months. I think probably 5 or so. Probably looking at late fall or even creeping towards the winter. So yeah, we'll see. But maybe they'll reach some type of plea arrangement, and both sides can kind of save face and move on. We'll see.
We can get that Lifetime special going by Sweeps next spring, Pantera.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Paul Harding from Martin Harding and Mazzotti. 1-800-LAW-1010 and 1-800-LAW-1010.com.
Thank you, Paul.
Oh, okay, guys. Thanks.
Quinn Cantera, PYX 106.